Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Green. We're doing another Read the Bible in 1 year, day 56, Deuteronomy 16 through 19. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, click the bell, that way you get updated whenever I post a new video. Like the video and also comment. You can say hi, thank you, thumbs up, smiley face, whatever you want to comment. It just helps with the algorithm. Remember, I'm dyslexic and I stutter, so sometimes if I see a big word, I get confused. Just bear with me. And here we go. Deuteronomy chapter 16. Observe the month of Abi, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God, for the new month of Abi, the Lord thy God brought thee out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God, of the flock and of the herd, in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no unleavened bread, no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for thou comest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste. And thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coast 7 days, neither shall there be anything of the flesh, which thou sacrificest the first day at even, remain all night until the morning. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of the gates which the Lord thy God giveth thee. But the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name in, there ye shall choose to sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go into thy tents. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day thou shalt be a solemn assembly to the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work therein. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee, beginning to number the 7 weeks from such a time as thou beginnest to put the sickle of the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of the weeks of the Lord thy God with a tribute of freewill offering of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, according as the Lord thy God has blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou and thy sons and thy daughters and thy manservants and thy maidservants, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are among you, in the place which the Lord thy God has chosen to place his name there. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes. Thou shalt observe the feast of tabernacles 7 days. After that hast thou gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in the feast, thou and thy sons and thy daughters, and thy manservants and thy maidservants, and the Levi, the stranger and the fatherless, and the widow that is within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast to the Lord thy God, in the place which the Lord shall choose, because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy increase, and all thy works of thine hand. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times a year shall all the males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty. Every man shall give his able, according to the blessings of the Lord thy God which he has given thee. Judges and officials, judges and officers shall make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God give thee, throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with their judgment. Thou shalt not wrest judgment, thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift, or a gift does blind eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of the righteous. That which is altogether just shalt thou follow, and thou mayest live, and inherit the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any fruit near to the altar of the Lord thy God, which thou shalt make thee. Neither shalt thou set up thee any image which the Lord thy God hateth. Deuteronomy chapter 17. Thou shalt not sacrifice to the Lord thy God any bullock or sheep wherein it is blemished, or any infavoriness that is the abomination to the Lord thy God. If it be found among you within any of the gates which the Lord thy God has given thee, man or woman, that has wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and has gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either in the sun or the moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard it, and inquired diligently, and behold, there be true, and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought into Israel. And it be told thee, and thou hast heard it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought in Israel. Then shall they bring forth that man or that woman, which has committed thy wicked thing, unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shall stone them with stones till they die. At the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall that he is worthy of death be put to death. But at the mouth of 1 witness he shall not be put to death. And the hands of the witnesses shall be the first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people. So thou shalt put the evil away to among you. If there arises a matter too hard for thee in the judgment, between the blood and blood, between plea and plea, and between stroke and stroke, being matters of controversy within thy gates, then thou shalt arise, and get thee up to the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt come to the priests and the Levites, and unto the judge that shall be in those days, and inquire, and they shall show thee the sentence of judgment. And thou shalt do according to the sentence at which thou place which the Lord shall show thee, and shall observe to do according to all that they inform thee, according to the sentence of the law which they shall teach thee, and according to the judgments that they shall tell thee, that they shall do, they shall not decline from the sentence which they shall show thee, to the right hand nor to the left. And the man that will do presumptuously, and will not hearken unto the priest that standeth and minister there before the Lord thy God, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and thou shalt be put away of evil from among Israel. And all the people shall hear and fear, and do no more presumptuously. And when thou art come to the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell there, and shall say, I will set the king over me, like as the nations that are about me, and thou shalt any wise set them king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. But he shall not multiply horses of himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses. For as much as the Lord has said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. And it shall be, when he sitteth upon the throne of the kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of the law in a book, out of which he is before the priests of the Levites. And it shall be with him, and they shall read therein the days of all of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord thy God, to keep all of his words of his law, and these statutes to do them. And his heart be not lifted up away from his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandments to the right hand or to the left, to the end that they may prolong his days of the kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 18. And the priests and Levites and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part or inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and his inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. The Lord is their inheritance, and shall say unto them, and this shall be the priest's due from the people, from them that offer sacrifice, whether it be an ox or a sheep, are they that give unto the priest the shoulder, and of the 2 cheeks of the maw. The first fruit also of thy corn and thy wine, of thine oil, and the first of the fleece of the sheep, shalt thou give him. For the Lord thy God has chosen him out of all the tribes to stand and minister in the name of the Lord, him and his sons forever. And if a Levite come from any of thy gates out of Israel, where he sojourn, and come unto all the desire of mind of this place which the Lord shall choose, then he shall minister to the name of the Lord his God, all his brethren and the Levites do, which stand there before the Lord. They shall have like portions to eat, besides that which cometh out of the sale of his patrimony. When thou come to the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of these nations. There shall not find any among you that anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that these things are abominations to the Lord, and because of these abominations to the Lord thy God does drive them out from before thee, thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken unto observers of times and of diviners, and as for thee, the Lord thy God has not suffered thee to do so. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me, and to him shall be hearkened, according to all that thou desirest of the Lord thy God, and hear him in the days of the assembly, saying, let him not hear me again in the voice of the Lord thy God, neither let me hear this great fire any more, that I die not. And the Lord said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will rise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak to my name, I will require it of him. But the prophets which shall presume to speak a word of my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that I shall speak in the name of other gods, even the prophet shall die. And if thou say in thy heart, how shall we know the word which the Lord has not spoken? When the prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, if the thing followeth not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord has not spoken, but the prophet has spoken it presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him. Deuteronomy chapter 19. When the Lord thy God has cut off the nations whose land the Lord thy God give thee, and thou succeeded him, and dwell in their cities and in their houses, thou shalt separate 3 cities from thee in the midst of thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it. Thou shalt prepare thee a way, and divide the coast of thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee to inherit, unto 3 parts, that every slayer may flee thither. And in this case of the slayer shalt thou flee thither, that he may live, whoso killeth his neighbor ignorantly, whom is hated not in times past. Whether a man goeth to the woods of his neighbor to hew wood, or his hand fetches a stroke with the axe to cut down a tree, and the head slippeth from the heave, and lighten up his neighbors, that he dies, he shall flee into those cities and lives. Lest the avenger of his blood pursueth the slayer, while his heart is hot, and overtake him, because the way is long, and slay him, whereas he was not worthy of death, insomuch as he hated him not to the time past. Wherefore I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt separate 3 cities unto thee. If the Lord thy God enlarge thy coast, as he has sworn to my fathers, and give thee all the land which he promised to give unto thy fathers, if thou shalt keep all these commandments and do them, which I commanded thee this day, to love the Lord thy God, and to walk ever in his ways, thou shalt add these cities more of thee, besides these 3. The innocent blood be not shed in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance, and so blood be upon thee. But if any man hate his neighbor, and lie away for him, and rise up against him, and smite him mortally, that he die, and flee to one of these cities, then the elders of the city shall send and fetch him thence, and deliver him to the hands of the avenger of blood, that he may die. That I shall not pity him, but thou shalt put him away his guilt of innocent blood from Israel, that it might go well with thee. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time has set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity, or of any sin, that he sinneth. At the mouth of 2 witnesses, or at the mouth of 3 witnesses, shall the matter be established. If any false witness rise up against thee, against any man to testify against him that is wrong, they both men between the controversy is, shall stand before the Lord, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligently inquisition, and behold, if the witnesses be a false witness, and has testified falsely against his brother, foot for foot, they shall do unto him as he thought to have done unto his brother, so shall thou put the evil away from among you. And those which remain still shall hear, and fear, and shall henceforth commit no more any such evil among you. And if thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Well guys, that's the video. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, like the video, and also comment. I'm going to put a couple links on the screen. The bottom right is going to be the Read the Bible in 1 Year study. The top left is going to be a playlist I think you might like. And the bottom left is going to be a video YouTube thinks you're going to like. If you know anybody that might benefit from this study, please share that with them. You could also share it on social media. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.